Like, why are there, though, this is crazy. This is to Medellin, and it's true what they say. Like, this is full of men. You don't see women anywhere. This is hilarious.
If you're following the space, there's a particular YouTuber who's in a little bit of hot water for some remarks that he made about enduring, if you will. And so I'm going to get into that. But before we get into that, I want to remind you guys about foreigner bars from a video I made here, which I'm going to link in the description right here. So what actually is a foreigner bar? Glad you asked.
Basically, yeah, so a lot of foreigners went there, which is why it's called a Gaijin bar. It was a bit of a meat market. A lot of Japanese women went there, young and not so young, who were interested in Gaijin males, and they were called, or they are called, that type of Japanese woman called a Gaijin killer. They're basically out to pick up a Gaijin guy and take him to a love hotel.
If you're an expat and you're really interested in the culture and the language, the chances of you, especially in this country, frequenting these kind of places are not going to be very often. You might do it for like a birthday party or to go out with some friends on a rare occasion, but the more you assimilate, the less likely you are to frequent such places, which of course means that these places are going to attract mainly people who are either A, choosing not to assimilate because it's not going to be here that long, or people that are looking specifically for foreigners. What I want to do in this video is I want to make sure I clear up the distinction between an international party and going to a foreigner type establishment, because there's a clear distinction and I want to clear that up in this video. But first, Abba N Preach, fair use.
After the last video, I just got people sending me everything. What did you say?
I punched a Latina bitch in the face at Rakan. What's Rakan?
It's a club in Japan.
So what is Rakan? I'm glad you asked. This is a promotional video from the Facebook of the particular bar, and you can see the kind of, I guess, atmosphere of the place. It's kind of a traditional foreigner bar, which there's nothing wrong with going there. You go there and have a good time. But what I'm telling you about Japanese life compared to foreigner bars is that you get a very small percentage of Japanese youths or young Japanese ladies who will go to these kinds of bars. One of the telltale signs that I see in this particular video is if you look at the young lady's leg, you can see a very large tattoo on there. And I can tell you without a doubt, 95% of young ladies, 97% of young ladies who are living as regular socialites in this country do not have visible tattoos. They just don't. And so to have a tattoo that large is a telltale sign that this is a place that patterns itself towards foreigners. So this here is their anti-corona all-you-can-drink party flyer, if you will, on Facebook. You can get a feel for what kind of bar it is because they chose this picture as a representation of the people they want to come to their party and have a good time. And I'm not saying that it's one way or the other. I'm just saying that it's a representation of the kind of establishment it is. It's a go party hard. And if you don't speak Japanese, we have the invite in English for you so that you know that you're not going to have to worry about speaking Japanese. This is a flyer for their international party. And you could see, again, it's written in English. So of course, they want people that speak English to come to the party. If you go to an international party, again, if you're looking for someone that's a little bit more serious or looking to settle down, they're probably not going to go to a night party that's all you can drink with people they don't know. They're most likely going to go to something that's probably in the daytime that they feel a bit more comfortable with, maybe with not having alcohol, or at least if they do have alcohol, it's going to be in a setting where it's more college oriented or more upscale, if you will, as opposed to all you can drink, if you will. And I'm not saying all you can drink is good or bad. I'm just saying that if you're going to an all you can drink establishment, they're partying. And a lot of young ladies just don't feel comfortable partying unless they're around people that they know. Back to Abba N Preach.
He lives over there. He was talking shit to some guy. I guess people just linking the group chats. He was talking shit to some guy, and the guy said to him, Well, at least I've never been arrested for glassing a bitch. And he's like, yo, why are you so sensitive?
So I think what they're talking about is he took a bottle and he hit a young lady in the face with it, or a glass. I think that's what they're talking about.
Are you going to leave next? So that's the MLD saying, like, why are you so sensitive? Why are you bringing that up? And the guy says, I'm not sensitive, just giving back some. And then MLD says, you act like that's the last bitch I'll smite on this planet.
Yeah, I think that's what he's saying. I think he said yeah.
I think it's very bizarre that someone accuses or says that you bottled a woman in the face, and your response is, that didn't happen. Your response is, are you being sensitive right now?
That's just not Japanese behavior. People do not do that. So I can tell, even when I saw this Abba N Preach video for the first time, I could tell that it wasn't a Japanese establishment and he wasn't dealing with the young lady in Japanese, because one, if he had done that in the Japanese establishment in front of a bunch of Japanese people, while speaking to a person who is traditionally Japanese, he would just not make it out of that place without someone dealing with him. That's number one. But two, if you are dealing with someone in Japanese people do not do that. They don't do that. That is 100% American behavior. Even if you have a disagreement to the point where you get physical, that is a level of physicality that they don't do that. So that's how I know that one, he's dealing with someone in a foreigner place, and two, he's dealing with someone who's used to dealing with foreigners. So just like the video I spoke on earlier about the young gentleman who's on the train, I shouldn't call him gentleman because he's an idiot. The guy on the train that was doing the crazy talking, this is just another version of it.
That's like 17 inches. Now, mind you, everything here I've been sent screen recordings for, so none of it is like edited photo. So this is him contacting somebody else about the incident in Japan.
I can't really hide who it is. I guess by now you know who it is, but this is the kind of behavior that, well, one, it segments you to a very small part of the culture that you're in, because quite simply, you're just not going to be able to act this way if you're assimilating into the culture, because people just won't want to be around you. But it also is a reflection of the fact that this is the kind of behavior that some people bring overseas with them. And it's just really unfortunate.
He goes, and you can see the video as he's scrolling. He says, hey, sorry to bother you about this. This guy attacked an innocent girl in Roppongi and the police found him. I heard he did something to you. Is that true? And the woman in question, who's Japanese, she goes, yes, true. What him make for the girl? Which I think is her broken English. Yeah, I know he's a real scumbag. Is it true that he punched you in your face? And she says, yes.
Yeah, so that is what it is. You should not be punching people, period, but you certainly shouldn't be doing it to the young ladies. And this is the kind of reputation that people have of foreigners when they come over. They don't know how to act. They only want to run after women. That's their whole moniker. They're not interested in learning the language. And so you have to deal with these kind of reputations occasionally, because some people just, they're here for themselves and that's all they're thinking about.
And so a couple other people from Japan contacted me and said that this guy was charged for bottling a woman in the face after she rejected him at a club. This went to court. He settled out of court. The woman has a scar across her face. She didn't want to come forward and bring this up, nor does she want to be involved because she's been traumatized by the experience since.
That falls in line with what I would expect a young Japanese lady to do. She doesn't want to make a big stink out of it. She wants it to go away. She doesn't want to create any further attention to herself because, I mean, it's embarrassing, to be honest. This is kind of behavior that a lot of Americans bring overseas with them, and it's so important. One, you have to make an attempt to assimilate. Assimilating means you're going to learn the language. And I see so many times when we talk about these kinds of places, people congregate to these kinds of places because it's a refuge against the world around them that's moving at daily pace in the native language. And if you don't make the investment to learn the language, that world just runs right past you. The point I want to make in this video is that there's nothing particularly bad about foreigner bars. The thing is, you have to understand that the foreigner bar is just a very small part of the nightlife in the city that you're in. And every step that you make in terms of learning language gives you more options to just not only go to other bars, but to get your foot into other places in that culture. Because let's be honest, if you're looking for a nice young lady, the chances of you finding her out in a bar partying are slim, if that, especially in the age of the smartphone, because a lot of those young ladies are on dating apps, or they're at home watching Netflix, or they're doing things that they're comfortable doing, because not all young ladies like to go out and party and drink until 2, 3 in the morning. As a matter of fact, I would say a very small percentage of young ladies feel comfortable doing that, period, much less doing that in a place where there are a lot of other people that are drinking and dancing. That said, if you are interested in a culture and you want to go overseas, and if you're looking for a nice young lady, I'm not saying that you can't find her in an international bar. What I'm saying is your opportunities to find the kind of young lady that you're looking for are going to grow with your investment into the culture, into the language, because you're going to meet people and you're going to make connections, and those connections more than likely are going to pull you away from this particular type of nightlife and closer to the nightlife that the locals have. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment below, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care, guys.